for event number 9. Most exciting event of the series. It's a high roller super stack. Only for 33,000 rand, you get 200,000 chips to sit with and 1 hour levels. Last year winner, Giovanni Zanetta, take million rand out of 4 million rand prize pool. For any more information, please visit Shuffle Up website. See you around the table.
Good evening and welcome to day 6 of Shuffle Up Poker and WPT's King of the Stacks 2019. Yeah, at Emperor's Palace, it's been a very wet day across Johannesburg. If you are watching us from somewhere around South Africa or even around the world, if you are, please drop a comment in the Facebook section. In the comment section, we'd love to catch up with you and find out where you are watching us from. So, like I said, it's been a very eventful day. Besides the rain, it's been pouring money left, right and center over the past 24 hours. We'll chat about that in a little bit, but just to give you a highlight and an idea of what's coming up today, it is a very exciting day in the Theatre of Marcellus where we are broadcasting from. As you can see, the tables downstairs over there, the people are starting to stream in as we get ready for the high roller event, which is going to be kicking off in the next couple of minutes. And besides that, besides the 80 players who will be taking part in that tournament, it is the charity event tonight, which takes place as well. We were expecting over 100 players to compete for not just the title and not just the trophy, but also there are 12 main seats up for grabs. And I'll be also competing in that tournament a little bit later this evening as soon as I'm done chatting to you and updating you as to what's going on in the King of the Stacks 2019 WPT tournament. So, of course, over the past 24 hours, we've been catching up with the Super High Roller event, which we chatted to Bozo about last night. If you did miss that interview and you did miss that chat, do yourself a favor, go watch last night's chat with him. And I think it was close on 45 minutes of just chatting to Bozo, David Rosenthal, and just getting an idea of the man, the myth behind the legend that he is when it comes to poker. And we're of course talking about the Super High Roller event that took place and finished last night. And congratulations, of course, to the champion, the winner, Clive Kakia. It's been a grueling 3 days, and the fact that he came out on top was incredible. It's been some really high stakes poker with some of the cream of the crop of South African poker players coming through with an entry fee of 75,000 Rand up for grabs. So, of course, over R1 million. It was really the guys coming out and showing all the talent and the skill that they have to offer. That total prize pool came up to 2.87 million Rand. So a lot of money up for grabs. And well done to Ahmed Karim coming in at second place. And another deep run for this legend of the game. He really performed well. And do yourself a favor, go check out the blog to see how well these guys actually performed and some of the other hands that came out of that event yesterday and over the past 3 days. But we did catch up with Clive on his win. Check it out.
Fantastic. I had a great tournament. It's been quite a grueling tournament for 3 days, but here I am, the winner. I'm quite happy about it. It's been quite up and down, but there was one great hand against Ahmed, who finished up as the runner-up. We had bluffed him at 8 high. I beat every street. And I managed to get him to fold, so I think that was a turning point for me. Yes, it was actually quite nice because I had some ups and downs, but I think I played a great game, and I managed to chip up quite nicely and managed to get the win, so I'm obviously chuffed about that. Well, the Super High Roller is always quite a high level of play because you get the best in South Africa. So yeah, it was quite a tough field. Now I really decided on playing a few months ago, and I was feeling quite good because I had a good win in India. And coming to this tournament, I played, I think it was the Ladies and Gentlemen. I made the final table there and won the second tournament. Couldn't be happier. It was amazing. It was actually my first trip to India, and they've got some great players there. I managed to win the shootout, so it was absolutely fantastic. The field, there was 58 players in the shootout, and I was quite amazed at the standard of the game in India. It's a very high standard. The main events drew about 630 players. I think WPT will be having the tournament twice there, so I'll definitely be going there again. Absolutely. It's obviously, one of the premier events, and you always find me on a table somewhere at a WPT event in South Africa. I play every single one. Of course, I'm quite tired now, but I'm jumping straight into the other tournament. Yeah, when you're on the roll, you might as well just take it as far as you can. Absolutely fantastic. I always enjoy the people, and the service is tremendous. No complaints whatsoever. No, not really. To be honest, I'm so tired. Yeah, my friend Georgie with his 2-7 offsuit, finally managed to knock him out a few times, so I'm very pleased about that.
Well done again to Clive. Absolutely incredible walking away with that super high roller events title, and something that he can hold his head super high for the next couple of months at least, to speak of the honest truth, because come March there are a whole bunch of new events coming your way. And that being said, a couple of the events that I'm looking for, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the guys play, and hopefully another super high roller events come March 2020. We're going to be discussing that schedule in the next couple of minutes. Something else that I'm really looking forward to seeing is, of course, always the charity event, just like it's happening tonight, and all the high roller events. And of course, I believe there is some seriously big news with regards to the main events, which will be kicking off in March 2020, where you could also potentially win yourself a seat to the value of 15,000 Rand in that March 2020 main event. But let me stop trying to give the cat and all the details away. We caught up with the man behind the scenes, the legendary Gary Lenton, who will give you all the details on what's coming up next year.
Hi guys, welcome to this interview with the man behind everything here at WPT at Empress Palace, Gary Lenton. We're going to ask him a couple of questions to get to know him as the man, as the founder of WPT here at Empress Palace, as well as what's to come at this event. Thanks for your time, Gary.
Yeah, it's always nice to see you guys. Most of the time we've got a better view than this.
Yeah.
And the weather's a little bit better when we're back home in Cape Town.
Yeah.
But I'm delighted that you're here for your first WPT event, I believe.
Well, it's my third one.
Third?
Yeah, first cash.
First cash.
First
Okay.
cash. So
first of many, hopefully, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Tell us more about you as the individual, as the man behind WPT South Africa. Who is Gary Lenton?
Right, well, Gary Lenton is a guy that grew up in Johannesburg. 53 years ago I was born. I spent 50 years in South Johannesburg before moving to Cape Town. My passion for gambling and poker, I suppose, started at a very young age, as early as I can remember. The pictures of me playing cards with my cousins when I was 6 and they were 4, which is a huge advantage at that age. Not much of an advantage today to be 30 against 28, but 6 against 4 is a huge advantage. And it just grew and grew and grew to a point where when I went to Vegas and I saw my first WSOP event.
When was that?
Sure, that was about 2004.
Okay.
I knew that this was for me. I knew that, poker in some way was my future and going to be my career. And that and a lot of other things that occurred in my life that led me to where we are today.
Awesome. So that's 15 years ago, 2004, huh?
That's correct.
Where was the idea birthed to bring international poker to South Africa?
Well, when I ran my first tournament, which was at Sun City, that was in 2006, what I knew there, what I found out and learned is that there was a huge amount of interest. But when I spread the word that Joe Hasham, who had just won the WSOP in Vegas, was coming, that grew it to a different level. First of all, nobody believed me. Everybody thought, yeah, Joe Hasham's not coming. I mean, he was genuinely the defending champion of WSOP. But I saw that the hype that created. So we brought Joe out here. I remember the vibe when he walked into the poker room. We started off with, in those days, our first event there was a heads up, 100,000 Rand heads up. And there were 15, we limited the field to 16. There were 15 guys all sitting there waiting for Joe Hasham and the dealers and everything. And I remember the guy that were bringing him phoned to say he's landed. So now I knew it was a deal. But the excitement when he walked into the room and just the vibe that he created throughout the weekend was amazing. And then I realized that's what's going to grow the game in South Africa. The following year, Patrick Antonius, Shane Warne, Chloe Gowan, all the big names started to come. And that's when I realized that if you wanted to really work, your best bet is with an international brand behind you.
Awesome. In terms of the growth since then, I mean, you spoke about the boom of bringing Joe over. What are the several highlights that have happened over the years to now?
Certainly bringing WPT here. Also, I can't ignore the fact that we brought WSOP here. There was a stage we were the only country in the world to host a WSOP event in the Southern Hemisphere.
Wow.
And that took a lot of negotiating and a lot of blood, sweat and tears, almost literally, not quite. But that was a huge feather, obviously, in our cap, you know what I'm saying, to deal with them and to have a guy out, Jack Apple. There probably isn't anybody higher in poker than Jack Apple, who came out for our second one. That was at Emerald Casino, and as fate would have it now, Piermont, who own Empress Palace, also just bought Emerald. So that was a huge feather in our cap. Then definitely WPT, and I'm not just saying it because it's a brand that we partners with now, but that was just one of the greatest meetings I've ever had in my life. I got hold of WPT, and they sent out a guy called Mark Siebel, and he met me here. He never knew me from a bar or soap. I never knew him, but we met at Empress in Bob Uren's office. Now, these are two big companies and me, and we had the meeting, and Bob gave us a tour through Empress Palace and everything, and I thought, well, things are going well, and here come the negotiation. We went back to Bob's office, and within, I don't want to exaggerate, 4 minutes, we shook hands, and WPT, Empress Palace and Shuffle Up had a deal. So that's obviously the highlight of my life, and obviously my career, that obviously the people that we brought, and you know what I mean, you're never going to make everybody happy in this game, Gareth, that I promise you. But the rave reviews that we get from people that matter, you know, people that when 2004, when I walked into a room and people said, there's Phil Harvey, people used to look, oh wow, you know what I'm saying, we brought Phil Harvey. I don't want to just isolate certain people, but the amount of bracelet winners that we brought you, the fact that I think, how many millionaires have we made? 60 people, millionaires that we made. That's also got to make me proud, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that we've built a business and given jobs, not only to the people that work directly for me or with me, but what about the people on the peripheral? The dealers that have got jobs, you know what I mean? Even if it's 2 or 3 times a year, you know what I'm saying? And everybody else that's involved. So it's the creation of a business and seeing a dream come to fruition and having some type of longevity.
100%. It's all about creating that opportunity. Many of us, I mean, all poker players dream of going to WSOP one day, or the overseas WPT leagues, but you've brought that to South Africa.
Correct.
So obviously that's been central in growing the game. What were the numbers like in that first WPT, and how have the numbers grown, or the growth of South African poker in your eyes?
Okay, well, it's very interesting because what happened there, we had much fewer events. So it's very difficult to compare that because it's not apples with apples anymore, you know. The first event was a cheapish, not cheap, nothing's cheap, was a 5,000 event. And because of the hype and everything, we got over 400 people. Now, that wasn't the main event. The main event, I think, was somewhere over 300. Now we run 12 events, so it's very difficult to compare a 12-event series to a 3-event series. However, the numbers keep growing. And they're growing. You see, trends change all the time. Now we're seeing the huge growth in the expensive buy-ins. If I look at my first super high roller, somewhere in the 20s. Then 30 and now 45 this year, right? That's massive. 45 people, of which very few of them were from out of South Africa, and those that were only from the continent of Africa, which is important to me. For the game to flourish in South Africa, Africa has to be a big player. They'll play a big part in it. So to see the super high roller get to 45, obviously you don't want to sit here and take guesses at where the high roller is going to be today, but one would guess that the high roller is going to get somewhere close to 100 entries. I mean, let's hope that it's a lot more than that. The main event,
the talk is over 100, and the main event as well is also a big talk. How many entries will have there as well?
Of course, but things happen, so let's not get too arrogant. Like you just told me 10 minutes ago, just before we started our interview, that a plane was diverted that was heading to Johannesburg because of the thunderstorm, and that landed in Bloemfontein. You never know, so let's wait until the dust settles. But yes, the momentum, you have to keep working at it. If we don't keep pushing and showing people the sexy part of poker, and also that it's not an elitist game. Anybody can play. We have free rolls, get it? That's the truth, right? And it's something we'll discuss on Friday night. But there's something for everybody. You don't have to have, as my good friend Carl told me earlier, 75,000 Rand to play poker. You can come for a free roll and you can turn that into being one of the next millionaires.
Are you proud to see some of the faces in the Super High Roller who've started at your first event, second event as the entry level, grow to the place they are today?
Of course, I mean, if if I go back to my first tournament, and I mean, I shouldn't really say this on air, but I will. I remember, and I do bring it up with him all the time, probably the most prolific winner in South African poker, if you include all spheres of the game, is Eugene du Plessis. And I remember the first poker tournament I ever ran, I got a call from his mother to say, oh, my little baby boy is coming, and oh, you're going to look after him, and this and that. And there was this kid that arrived that was too scared to say boo. And now he's made a decent amount of money and a huge career out of poker. Jared Solomon was at my first tournament. I'm talking about the guys that have flourished, you know what I'm saying? Eugene and Jared stick out in my mind as the most.
Jared's performance at WSOP must be proud of you as well.
Of course, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not taking any credit that I taught him anything, but the fact that was his first one. I'll tell you another one. I don't want to mention his surname because he's CEO of a big public company, but a huge friend of ours and a really successful poker player. His first name is Rudolph. His surname will remain a mystery, but everybody knows who he is. Rudolph, when he came into the game, could easily have left the game because he was a little bit, you wouldn't think so now, maybe timid and intimidated by some of the players, you know. But I remember thinking, this guy got a little bit of talent and he certainly enjoys what he does. And I spent a lot of time talking to Rudolph and playing him up and everything. And now today, he plays tournaments around the world, you know what I'm saying? Not only is he busy playing tournaments, he's busy playing any game that there is, Rudolph will get involved in. So yeah, all these things it is great. It's great, the relationships, the friendships that have been built over 15 years, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we don't profess to make everybody happy all the time, but there are a lot of friendships, not only with me or my staff, but that have been created amongst the players that would never have happened. Marriages, children, I can go through that. I've got, you know what I mean?
Friendships, there's so many friendships. Yeah.
Exactly, so there's a lot that has come from it.
As a Cape Town player coming to Joburg, that natural camaraderie amongst the poker players is there as well. Off the field, that's something to be happy about as well, that poker camaraderie amongst the players.
That's what I'm talking about, that the relationship stems more than just what happens at the table. You know what I mean? That's not what a poker series is about. A poker series is about the drinks afterwards, the dinners before, you know what I mean? And the stories that carry on, not for days, not for weeks, not for months, for years. I promise you now, you know what it's like. If I once thought about opening a booth and charging people 50 Rand to come tell me their hard luck story. And I would just say, yes, because I get so many of them. And then I thought, maybe I'll charge them 100 if I act sympathetic. Yeah. And 200 if I said, that's a unique one, but there's never going to be a unique one. Obviously, I wouldn't do that. I've got time for anybody's stories, but that's what it's all about. Doesn't matter, in 5 years' time, we're going to remember the series. You're going to remember your first cash. In 20 years' time, am I right? Okay? That's the truth. You know, the breakfasts and all the meetings that we have. You know what I mean? If not for poker, where would we have met?
What do you make of the South African players' performances overseas? I mean, you mentioned Rudolph doing well overseas, Jared's done one recently. Are you hoping that more South African players will take the chance and see what they can do overseas?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's an economic side to poker as well. So when overseas players come here and they've got a good record here, let's not beat around the bush. They've done exceptionally well here. Excuse me, that money leaves the country. That's the way it works. But somebody like Jared goes there and does well and he brings it back here. That's also important, you know what I mean? You need to balance those books, which is happening. So, I mean, there's Jared, there's Warren Zaki, and then, I forget his name now, forgive me, but he hasn't been to a tournament for a while. The Durban guy that I think came home, maybe 13th, I forget his name, it'll come to me later. And then obviously Ray, you know what I'm saying? And they've gone there and they've performed exceptionally well on the biggest stage in the world, you know? And that's not including the other tournaments that guys go and win all around the world, you know what I'm saying? That you don't read as much about. It doesn't have to be a huge tournament. Clark Kikia comes to mind, who just won a tournament in India. Lambo, who won a tournament, I think, in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? These are all, you can't be lucky to win a tournament. Yes, there's an element of luck involved, and you got lucky at some stage in the tournament. But you can't be a clown and walk into a tournament overseas and come back with the first prize. That doesn't happen. They're good players. They really are.
You mentioned some of the big names who've come over the years. Will that be a continuous trend in the future?
Become more and more difficult as our currency devalues, you know, because all of a sudden it costs a lot more to bring them here. And the other problem is that for them to come here and grind it out for 4 or 5 days and only win a few $1,000s. So a lot depends on the currency, that's the truth. I mean, last night I actually happened to have a conversation with Bryn Kenny, who, when he came here the first time, which was I think probably 7 years ago, there's a picture of him in the poker room. Bryn was starting out pro. He was a grinder on the tour, you know what I'm saying? And he did well here, but he went overseas and he's cracked it. And now Bryn, I would say Bryn's earnings in the last 4 or 5 years must be in excess of $20 million. And we're just talking. I said, Bryn, come here in March. Come join us again, you know. And he wasn't being arrogant. He said, Gary, it's hard. When you get to this level, it's hard for me to play in tournament where the buying's less than 100,000 US. It takes us hard, but we will always bring players. And there are players that come on their own steam, you know. March will when we discuss what our March schedule is now, of course we're going to bring people in March, that's for sure.
100%. Is it just poker for them, or do they see this as a nice holiday destination?
It's an interesting thing. When we started in 2012 with WPT, the word safari used to drive Americans mad. They all wanted to go on safari. Not so much the case now, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why. So it doesn't help to sit here and just say everything's hunky-dory when there are problems, you know what I'm saying? But the glitz and glamour of coming to South Africa now compared to 10 years ago isn't what it used to be. So we have to give them a bit of everything. Safari, Cape Town, great poker. If you give them the combination, then you have a chance.
You've mentioned about the growth of WPT and your events. What do you credit from an organizing point of view to that growth? What are the elements that have contributed to that growth?
I would say first and foremost transparency and knowing where everybody's strengths lie. You know, I don't try to tell WPT what to do in certain things. I follow what they tell me to do. They follow and take my advice where they think that I have local knowledge and everything. And the same applies to Emperors, where they experts, we let them do their work, right? Where we experts, they let us do our work. And there's no flexing of muscles. It's just a partnership that's worked from day one, and everybody knowing what their roles are. And when you know that, so transparency, respect, you've got a chance in any partnership.
How far in advance do you actually have to plan and start putting the blocks in place? Because players just lock up and play. We don't realize sometimes what you actually have to do in the background.
No, that's true. You know what I mean? Well, so we've got our March dates booked. So we've got our October dates for next year booked. So that process has already started. We have our schedule for March. So that process is already well and up and going. So all my staff will take off a couple of days next week once this is finished. They get 2 days off, and then we start to get ready for March, and then we break for the whole of December. So we've got a short period.
3 months, 4 months?
4 months before an event we go.
Yes.
Our marketing's done, the theme's done for our marketing, the look and feel's done, our schedules are done, the satellites are done already. Yeah, so 4 months in advance we know what we're doing already in March.
That's amazing, and I'm a player. I think I speak on behalf of everybody. Thanks for that service. Speaking about March, I believe there's some big news that you'd like to share.
Yeah, and I want to do it first with you, and I thought that everybody should get it out together. So we're always trying to evolve and see what we can do for players and what we can do for the market and the industry in South Africa. And I thought, let's try to do something novel, right? Let's do something different for the main event, and let's try to get the number to be crazy. Let's just get those 400 people in your game, not entries. Let's bring 400 unique people in here, and let's get it to 600 entries. And I thought, how can I do that? You know, what can we do differently, right? We could bring 600 people if it was a free roll, but I mean, that's not going to help anybody. So I thought, let's go. We guarantee 3 million first prize. We're the only company in Africa that guarantees any poker prize. So we guarantee 3 million here.
Wow.
So I thought, let's jack it up to 5 million for our main event next year. So the main event is a 5 million guaranteed. And then I thought, that's a little bit hectic. The guy that wins it always walks away hell of a happy, but there are a couple of people below him that aren't quite as happy as him. And I thought, let's also guarantee the top 3 players all getting at least R1 million.
That's amazing.
So it's at least $1 million. So in other words, the
First, second, third, $1 million
guaranteed. So first we'll guarantee 1.1, $1.50 million, and $1 million, and that's guaranteed. And obviously, if the prize pool is big enough, that's not the ceiling. The winner might get 1.8. We don't know, but the top 3 are all guaranteed $1 million.
So that's new breaking ground for South African poker.
Nobody's ever done.
So March 2020, 5 million guaranteed main event, R3 million prizes guaranteed.
That's it.
That's big news.
That's big news.
Where did this idea come from, and where is it coming from?
Well, I was actually flying back from Joburg to Cape Town after a meeting here, and we hit some turbulence, and I think maybe that's where I made this brave move. But no, we're okay. I mean, we know we're going to get the numbers. We're going to create the value. It's a 15,000 Rand buy-in, but we know that 15,000 Rand is a lot of money for a lot of people, right? We want to bring it to the masses. We want every person out there that loves poker to have a chance to be one of those 3 millionaires. And what we're going to do is we're going to run an extensive amount of satellites, and there are going to be no satellites for high rollers or anything else other than main event satellites, and they're going to be affordable. That I promise you now. There are going to be numerous free rolls. There are going to be numerous cheap shots. We're going to give everybody a chance. For me, and there's nothing against the guys that have supported me for years, and I mean, I love them all, you know that. I would love for people that win it to be people that have never won more than 100,000 in the game before.
That's amazing news. I know March 2020 is the main priority focus, and I don't mean to take you off that at all, but is there anything else in the future, whether it's medium or long term, that excites you still, that you still want to achieve in South African football?
Definitely. Well, we had the 13th provincial this year, which was a raving success. I want to also have more team events. I want to create more camaraderie. Every tournament excites me. That's a fact. It never becomes old to me. You know, I still get the same. I promise you now, at 7:10, I'm going to be nervous, right? It's only when I've got 70 or 80 people sitting down tonight that I'll relax about the high roller. And when the main event comes, you can tell me you think 200, you can tell me 300, you can think 400. It's till the 300 have bought in.
Yeah.
That's the only time I can relax. So I get the same nerves. It's just like any good cricketer. Doesn't matter if he's got 100 hundreds before. When you walk down those steps, if you don't feel those butterflies, you shouldn't be playing cricket anymore. So I love that. And what I still want to see in the future, I want to see that when I eventually turn it up, right? When eventually, you know, that there's somebody who can take over and that poker continues, so that when I'm following it on your blogs and on your vlogs and whatever it is, I can sit at home or wherever I am and see that poker's continuing to grow. That's what I want to see. Maybe in your hands, Gareth. I don't know these things, you know what I'm saying? But I'd like to know that it's in somebody's hands who has the same passion as me, that gets the same thrill and the same disappointment when any punter comes to your player and he's not happy about something. Because as much as you feel great for the good things, if somebody has a genuine complaint, you have to have that same hollow feeling as well. Otherwise, you'll never fix it properly.
That's final statements from Gary Linton. Amazing news. We've had record fields in the three top events at this year's series. March 2020, we've heard it from the man himself. Main event, 5 million rand guaranteed. 3 1 million rand winners guaranteed. That's big news for South African poker. It's testament to what WPT has done for this country and the sport, and we continue to look forward to that with excitement. Gary, thanks for your time. Hopefully everybody gets excited about that and continues to support you guys.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking your time and all the efforts that you've done for this tournament and spreading the word in Cape Town.
It's a pleasure.
You know, and I also think that just so that people know, the schedules will be up from tonight, I would imagine. We've got them in the poker room, and if you're watching this and you want to come around, even for this tournament, and you need a little bit of assistance, the reason why I've got such a lot of girls and such a lot of guys that work for me, they all qualify to help you. There's nothing intimidating about a poker series. Come play, come watch, come have a bit of fun.
It's the best fun ever. That's why we play the game. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
There we go. Thanks, Gary. So as you heard it for the first time ever, March 2020, a guaranteed 5 million rand in that event. And of course, you could be one of those people. If you want to win a seat into the main event come March 2020, we want to hear your predictions for this year's main event. Who do you think it's going to be? Mine so far are going for either Bozo or Lagan Zaki. We'll have to wait and see. Who's yours? We'll put it up on Facebook and you can vote. And if your player comes through as the winner for this year's main event, you could be joining us at that main event in 2020. And on top of that, like you heard, guaranteed 5 million rand, and 3 people will be walking away guaranteed millionaires. Could it be you? We'll have to wait and see you there. As you can see behind me, people have started taking their seats for the charity event, which is about to kick off. The high roller event has already kicked off. I have to go take my seat. I'm going to see if I can win my seat into the main event come Friday. But hey, if you want to try get your seats into the main event, there are still 2 satellites to come. So make sure you take part in those. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, I'm Balinkosi and I'm here at the World Poker Tournament. It's a charity event, super excited to be here. I won last year by luck, so let's see if I can do it again.